Hey everybody, we'll give till about 103 before we get started. Try to get everybody a chance to get on. All right, we will go ahead and get started here. I don't think there's anyone new that's on the call. Right now, it looks like there's just three of y'all, Amanda, Sarah, and OJ. Oh, Joe just hopped on. Um, does anybody have any questions or concerns or have any things that have happened that you want to discuss?
I got a question.
Sarah? Oh, 1 second, Joe. Sarah raised her hand real quick.
Hi. I had a lead come through last night wanting to see a property for Wednesday. And I reached out to the listing agent because it wasn't on MLS. Like it was on there, but it wasn't like active. And they said it's not listed. But then when I go to Zillow, it's like listed on Zillow as an auction. So I called the number on the Zillow listing and they said that it's a foreclosure auction with no showings and it's sold as is. So how do I navigate the conversation with the lead so that I'm not just like, oh, hey, yeah, you can't see this house. And then her be like, oh, well, I don't need you anymore.
So how I would go about that is we'll kind of role play this real quick. You're going to be the buyer, the client, and I'll be the agent. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Sarah, this is Matt Messmer with KW. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to let you know I got with the bank on that listing, and it is a bank-owned foreclosure property. And the way that they're going to sell it is it's through an online auction. So unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to actually physically see the property in person other than being outside and doing a walk around on the outside. And it would be an online auction, kind of like eBay. So you would actually purchase the home through an auction online, and it's an as-is sale. So whatever is wrong with the house, you would need to take it in its current condition. So what I really wanted to discuss is what type of financing you were looking at doing, unless you're planning to pay cash, because this would probably be a better sale for a cash purchase, not so much for financing. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So that's how I would kind of go about that, Sarah, and really deep dive into how they're planning to purchase the property. Because if they're more of like an investor that's paying cash for it, they probably won't care. But if this is going to be like their primary residence and they're going to be financing this property, more than likely you're not going to be able to finance it, especially FHA, VA, or possibly USDA. It would have to be more of a conventional loan. And I don't even know for sure conventional would go because it depends on the quality of the house itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I don't know if the person like knows that it's a like foreclosure auction or not. So I don't want to like just have the like I don't want to call her and just be like, here's the bad news, you can't see the house, if like she didn't know that and she's interested in just looking for a home for herself.
Yep. So we never want to be negative, right? Because negativity, if you call and say, listen, I got really bad news, if you're starting the conversation with negativity, they're already going to be kind of hesitant to want to do anything because now you've kind of already put it in their mind that I'm bringing you bad news. So it would just be more of a, what I would call, I can't think of the word off the top of my head, but an enlightening conversation, right? You're enlightening her on what type of property it is, and there's still an option to purchase it if you so choose to, but it depends on the type of financing. And is this going to be your primary residence? Are you buying this as an investment? Are you buying this as your main property? Like those all factor into if this is going to be the right fit for you. And it's going to get more knowledge for you to know what type of buyer she really is, right? Because she's going to tell you that.
Okay. And then at what point, like, do I bring up like finding similar homes that she can like actually tour if she's looking for like something residential for herself?
Yep. So that's where that deep dive is going to come in handy, because if she's like, well, this is going to be for my primary residence and I was planning to finance. Oh, okay. So if this is going to be your primary home, like you're going to be personally living in it, tell me, how many bedrooms do you need? How many bathrooms do you need? Like, is there a specific location? You know, let her start telling you everything she wants and needs to fit her lifestyle and maybe due to her children or her job or the school zone or whatever that looks like. Let her tell you everything that she's looking for so that you can jot all that down, and then you're going to recap that. So Sarah, obviously I understood you said that you want to be in this location due to the school zone because of your kids. You got to have a minimum of 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and you would like it to be, you know, an upgraded home with no carpet in it, correct? Oh yeah, correct. Right? Then she understands that you're listening to her because you're regurgitating everything she just said.
Okay.
And then from there, you can physically figure out like what route you want to take her, right? And you may figure out, well, she's not ready to buy right now because she doesn't even have her finances in order. She doesn't have this, she doesn't have that. Again, we're not going to look at it as a negative. Everything is a positive. So, Sarah, I understand you said that you haven't even spoken to a lender yet. That's perfectly fine. I've got a lender you can talk to that can get you approved in a matter of an hour. I just really want to find out, you know, kind of what you're looking for so that I can start sending you properties that match that criteria or meet that criteria. So that's how I would go about it. Joe, you had a question earlier, and I know you're more of a veteran. Would you handle it any different? Is there any pointers that you would give her different than what I did?
Yeah, that's the same way I would lay it out, you know, let them know what it is, right? And those are always tough, right? Those are always tough because you're buying something on site. You know, you don't know how the plumbing is, you don't know how the roof is. Now, if it's a newer home, right, within the 15-year time span, go for it, right? Because you know, you're probably going to be good with the major systems and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a tough one. I've been there before. That's a tough one. And I've been there probably 3 or 4 or 5 times. And, you know, we end up just going on to the next one just because it's an older home. But, you know, always just being positive, you know, that's a big key there. have the confidence, have all the information written down, and think about any possible questions they might come up with before you have that conversation so you're prepared for it.
Does that help you, Sarah?
Yeah, it helps a lot. I don't even know, like, looking at the property, I don't really know what a foreclosure auction is. Like I said, I went on the MLS and then I called the old listing agent because the house had been listed before. They said it wasn't listed anymore. And then I went back to Zillow and looked. And then that's where I found like a number for a company called Federa. And I've never even heard of them.
Yeah, to kind of give you an example of how these work, there is going to be zero communication with a actual person that knows anything about this property. Everything is based online. You submit all of your documents online. Normally there's some sort of technological fee that they're going to charge you if they accept your contract. They may not even be willing to pay you more than 1 or 2% in a commission. So you may have to fight for that or get the buyer to pay it. There's a lot of, different scenarios that could pop up in that situation.
Yeah. And also, Sarah, what I would do too is if you're going to write an offer for that, definitely put on there that the inspection period starts once the contract is accepted.
Yes, that's a great point, Joe. Very good point.
Because that way you're going to be able to check the house out, make sure that it's in, good condition, because if you need you need new plumbing or you need a new roof, that's going to be tens of thousands of dollars possibly. So, just make sure that you're protected there, get your compensation written down, mark the X's on the addendums for that. And very important, just make sure that once the contract is accepted, the inspection period starts. Very important.
Okay.
Yeah, because it could take, they may tell you that they've accepted your offer, but until you have that back in your email, right? You want to make sure that there's in writing that until you have the contract back in your hands, even if they've sent you an email that they've accepted your offer, your timestamp does not start until you have every documentation back in your email, so that they don't try to shortchange you a couple days on your inspection period, because they're probably going to want a 7 to 8 day inspection period or less to begin with. So you're going to be really pushing time.
Absolutely. That's going to save you a lot of stress.
Okay.
Yeah. So Joe, you had a question earlier. Do you still remember what it is?
Yeah. Hey, Matt, how's it going, man? Good afternoon.
Good.
Yeah. My question was, I have a listing, my first listing that hasn't really sold, and we're coming up to the expiration date in 10 days. So do I just use the same listing agreement, put, the 15th on there until whatever time, and that's how we renew it, or is there specific documentation that we got to use to renew the listing?
Yep. So if they want to continue the listing, then you would just do a listing modification and just use that modification to extend the contract date of the listing agreement.
Extend contract date. Awesome.
Yep. So instead of redoing all the paperwork, you just redo one piece of paper.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. And everything else stays the same, right?
Everything else stays the same. If they said, yeah, we want to keep it listed with you and keep going, I would suggest giving it at least 3 more months if you can get it out of them, because the market's not going to really pick up until mid-January.
Mm-hmm.
So think about, if it starts picking up mid-January and it takes you till February 1st to get it under contract, you're not going to close until sometime in March.
Yep.
So you would be better off to just have it in March 31st if you can get that out of them, and explain that as to why.
Okay.
Because if you do it for 30 days, that means you basically got to get it under contract like right away,
Yeah, definitely.
It
Yeah,
doesn't even make sense.
it doesn't make sense, man. This house is it's just a tough house to sell. It's a lot of rooms, 5 bedroom, 3 bath. There's brand new homes down the street for the same price. You know what I mean? This house has a lot of wear and tear. Kept
Yeah.
up really well. Newer roof, newer ACs, kept up really well in a really nice community, Vista Lakes in East Orlando. But it's just, it's one of those tough ones. You know how the listings are right now. They're tough,
Well, I
but
I literally had this same conversation with a family this past weekend. Same situation. And I told them, like, look, you're competing against new construction at a very similar price, and they're giving them everything. They're giving them refrigerators, blinds, washers, dryers, no closing costs, rate buy downs, like you name it. They're getting everything they want, which
warranties.
they're not going to get from you. So
Yeah.
how do we compete?
Yeah. It's one of those clients that he just has his house on the market. He's like, hey, if I sell it, great. If not, I'll just keep it. It's kind of that
Yeah.
situation. So it's a little bit more laid back, you know. But we've had situations where they passed out on some offers, and then they come back like, oh, we should have accepted that, and it's like, well, I told you it's a decent
Your
offer. You know what I
your
mean?
first offer is always your best. If
Yes.
it's a legitimate offer, not these shitty
25%
online,
off. Yeah.
yeah, wholesalers that are offering you cash for, 30% under market value. If this is a legitimate buyer that's purchasing it for themselves, I've been doing this 12 years, guys. Your first offer is always your best offer, hands down. I've learned that, and I've tried. I've talked to sellers before that have turned down offers that I tried to tell them to accept, and 6 months later, they ended up taking an offer that was less than the offer they turned down 6 months prior. Not to mention, they paid all those carrying costs for 6 months.
Yeah. Yep. That's a tough one. Right now, I did a listing presentation the other day in Palm Bay. Good house, really nice house, but he had to list it like when the market was really high, and he didn't sell it when it was high. He got offers that are higher than what he's going to get today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I tell my clients the same thing. I tell them usually the first offer that we get is going to be the most competitive offer. So we really need to think about it. You know. But no,
Yep.
you're 100% correct, man. And it depends on the area too. I mean, I sold a house 2 months ago. It was on the house for 7 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was on the market for
It,
7 days. It sold, but I did go into the house and I repainted the house for them. I put some new fixtures. I got rid of some wood rot. I did a bunch of things to that house to make it like that. But yeah, it really depends on the home and the location, right?
oh, absolutely. Like, homes are still selling very quickly, guys. If you've got a special property, maybe it's got acreage or a pool, or maybe it's just in that neighborhood that normally things don't come for sale in, things are still moving if you have the right property. The biggest things that I see that aren't selling are the new construction resales that are competing against other new construction in the same neighborhood for the same price.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. And also have that conversation with your clients. If you're doing a listing presentation, you're walking the home and you can tell that some paint will really brighten up the house, or little things here and there, a little bit of wood rot, or some cracks in the stucco outside or something like that. Let them know, because those little things that you do to the house is really going to make a difference.
well, the more truthful you can be with them on the front end, the better your life is going to be on the back end. I promise you now.
100%. Oh yeah.
So, Joe, you got anything else?
No, that's it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Sarah, do you have any other questions or concerns or anything?
No.
Okay. Amanda, you got anything for us, or you good?
I don't have anything today. I'm just still trying to work the ones that I have.
Okay. OJ, what you got for us?
I'm kind of in the same boat. Just working with what I have at the moment. Just also in here trying to learn anything that I don't know, of course.
Gotcha. Well, again, I would suspect the market to start picking up next week or week after. People are going to be filing their income tax. The Fed is supposed to meet again this month. I don't know what that's going to look like. I did speak to Berkeley, one of our partner lenders, the other day, and he was saying if they can get the 10-year treasury down to around 4% or lower, that's really the sweet spot to start seeing mortgage rates come down. So let's really look forward to that. If we can get mortgage rates starting to fall right now, I think it's going to be a really big year for us. So I'm looking for a good year in 2026.
Let's get it.
But outside of that, I don't have anything for anyone on here. But if y'all have questions, like I said, feel free to call me, text me, whatever I can help with. I'll do my best, and we'll go from there.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Matt. Have a good day,
All
everyone.
right, see y'all.